Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host, Dave D. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheadspodcast.live.
And welcome to Pattaya, welcome to Thailand, and of course, welcome to Talking Heads podcast down here live from the studio in the back room, in the shed of somebody left me anyway. But in the studio, the man himself, Mr. Nick Chapman, Nick the HeadHunter Chapman, should I say. Welcome to the studio, Nick.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
It's nice to have you in here, and we've never had anybody in here that's to do with boxing or anything, any kind of fighting. So you're a virgin in here today. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just for the people out there that don't know, and I'm going to sit back and listen a little bit. I mean, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got here to Thailand, if that's okay with you. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, before we start, if you've never had anyone here in combat sports before, you jump straight in the deep end because we're bare knuckles, so it doesn't get any more real than that.
All right. remember to say all the right things, Dave.
I'm harmless outside the ring.
Okay, let's have a listen to you tell me about yourself, because I'm intrigued.
Okay, so I mean, obviously I grew up in England. I got into the fight game very early. I've been fighting my whole life. From the age of 5, I've been doing martial arts. I went on to become a 2 times champion in MMA. Mm-hmm. I retired from professional fighting at the age of 39 when I won a major title that I'd worked hard to get. And I sort of looked at my life and thought, where am I going to go now? And I decided I wanted to leave the UK. Just wasn't interested in the.
Got to a certain point where you think there's not there's more to this.
There's a hell of a lot more to life.
We know there is. I mean, we know. But I mean, when you're over there, though, when you're in the UK and you're there and you're in that bubble, if that's what you want to say, you can only go so far, can't you?
Absolutely.
And until you take that step out of it, then you go, whoa, what have I been missing? Correct?
I could not put it better myself. Yeah. I mean, I travelled a lot whilst I was living in the UK, and I'd always head back. And I knew that there was more for me out here. So anyway, I got to a point, I just thought, right, I'm done now. So I sold everything. I mean, I had some successful companies, had some properties, had some nice cars, and I sold everything. And I said, right, where am I going to go? I went to the airport and literally had my passport. I could have gone anywhere in the world. It was the most incredible sense of freedom. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Done the same. Been there.
Just a bag, passport, and a load of money in my bank. And
I never had that. My wife took everything, but I had the bag.
Oh, okay. Well, it was probably a better feeling having the money too. But I looked up and said, where shall I go? And I thought, a friend of mine lives in Pattaya. I actually wanted to go and live in Mexico. I thought I'd buy a villa in the mountains and just live my life there.
Sure.
I thought I'd go and see my mate in Pattaya if I do, because when I'm there, I'll probably never get a chance to head over. Of course, I come here and I went, no, I'm never leaving. Never left.
But of course, I mean, taking your step from England, and it takes a lot of balls. I mean, there's a lot of people that won't do that. They'll come here and they go back home and that's it. I mean, to sell everything and do everything and make that step out of the UK. I mean, when you got here and you got to Pattaya and you think to yourself, right, I'm going to stay here. I mean, how did you start? Did you just get yourself a bit of a condo? Did you get yourself somewhere to live and then think about what you were going to do? Or did you already know what you were going to do?
Do you know what? That's a great question as well. So I got here and obviously I had money. Money wasn't so much the issue, but I very quickly said to myself, okay, this is where I want to be. I literally walked into Fairtex.
Okay, that's the gym up the top, Nicola, yeah?
Absolutely. They're one of the biggest fight... Well,
absolutely.
The number one fight brand in the world. And they got this amazing gym. And I walked in there, it was in October or November, and they were due to launch their whole new MMA facility. And I walked in, they sat me down and done an interview with me on the spot and gave me a job there and then.
Wow.
And it was great. I mean, I had a work permit straight away. I had a visa, and all I was doing was training MMA every day and help managing the team.
Just for me, what does it mean?
So mixed martial arts is crudely termed cage fighting. So
okay, all right, that's it. That's just for the dummies out there like me that don't know all these kind of things.
You got it. So like UFC, and you've heard of One Championship. When you see these guys fighting in a cage and it's grappling and striking, that's MMA.
You have to imagine this, Nick. When you get technical, you got all these people at the end of it that's listening to us, and they've all got these books and flicking through it, going, "What does that mean? What does that mean?"
I get you.
So if we can tell them, it helps.
It's like when I'm walking in, you tell me about this equipment you've got lying on. I don't know what any of it is, but
it helps. Yeah. It helps. Right. It's okay. So now we know. So you're at Fairtex. I mean, I've done some interviews there. Great people. Yep. Had some great times up there. Yep. Great facilities, and you've got your work permit. You're training the M&A, and then what do you do? Do you think to yourself, that's it, or do you see openings, or what happened then?
Dave, I wish I had it in my brain to just say that's it, because I'd be probably a lot less stressed and in many sense a lot happier, because I just cannot stop myself. I have to always drive myself forward.
Sure.
And it's always been the same. So no, I didn't just say that's it. I started working for Fairtex. I found my bearings. I then bought a few properties and then started renting them out.
Sure.
So that was a steady source of income for me. So and from there, I ended up traveling around Asia with Fairtex, doing various different roles around some big events. And I've always found in Thailand, if you've got a passion and you've got a keen sense of doing things properly, and I mean like really properly, whatever you do, just do
not willy-nilly like a lot of people do.
Right. I just have to do things properly. And very quickly I started to stand out. Then the phone started ringing. I'd get phone calls from different people saying, can you wrap hands? Can you corner our fighters? And then eventually I started getting phone calls to refereeing. And I then went on to referee for One Championship, which is one of the largest organisations in the world, which is quite a big deal. And that went well. I think I did 10 events for them. And then I was working for the World Leftweight Championships, which is like Muay Thai without gloves, and headbutts illegal in Myanmar. I love that. That was great.
Hold it there. We're going to come back. We've just got to say hello to these guys. Okay, 2 seconds.
No problem.
Great. AX Media.
Our team of creatives, designers and developers collaborate closely to produce visually stunning and captivating digital experiences. Our team is carefully structured to deliver exceptional, personalized and inventive digital solutions from the initial idea to the final product launch.
Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host Dave D. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheadspodcast.live.
If you just joined us, we're down here in the studio. Of course, we've got Nick Chapman in the studio. Mr. Headhunter himself is here, telling us about his adventure. It's like round the world in 80 days. This is, but it's compact.
That's true. Yeah.
So you started refereeing, and you stood out, and then suddenly you're getting phone calls, and then you go on to which was the One
Championship. Yeah.
One Championship. Take us from there.
So I was refereeing MMA fights in One Championship. Actually, I never forget the first time I stood in the ring and they announced. We was out live to potentially 3.5 billion people, and I'm standing there with a very deadpan face, looking all professional, thinking, "Shit, why have I get this wrong?"
You got that in stereo, by the way. We said that at the same time.
You did, yeah. So you know how I was feeling.
Oh, I know that feeling.
But I carried it off well, and I did okay. I've done quite a few events for them, and then I went on to World Leftweight Championships, which is great. That's Muay Thai, as I said. Bare knuckle and headbutts illegal.
Right.
Now, I'm a fighter. I always have been. So for me, the rawest, the realest type of fighting that you can find is what excites me.
Right.
And Leftweight for me was really good fun. I then went on and I've done some work with a friend of mine in Phuket. He runs some pretty good events, which is actually how I come into BKFC.
Right.
I refereed BKFC rules event in Phuket and just fell in love with the sport.
We're going to talk about the rules in a second and how they differ and what you're trying to do at the moment by mixing the two. Yeah. There's something I watched the other day. Just I'm going to quote you something and just tell me if you agree with this. Right. I watched Mike Tyson the other day talk on TV about the boxing and how the boxing was deteriorating in figures and people not watching it, and then suddenly they've brought these people in that are fighting cage fighters, and you got Jake Paul and all these kind of people who are just influencers, and Tyson said to me, he says, well, when we did it, we got 5 or 6 million watching us. Yeah. He's come in the ring, he's got this cage fighter, and he's got 50 million watching us. Yeah. I agree with what he's doing because he's brought it back into the public eye and brought fighting back in different ways to people and say, hey, this is happening, and suddenly it's come back. Yeah. Do you agree with that kind of thing?
Brilliant perspective. So, yes, I do now. When Jake Paul first come out, I just called him Fake Paul.
Sure.
Or Fake Paul
Absolutely, like everybody else did.
Right. And look, here's the thing. Dinosaurs are extinct for a reason. Now, if these combat sports don't get with the times, they're gonna become extinct.
Sure.
So boxing, if they don't change their mindset, the boxing promoters, they've got to look at these influencers and say, okay, Jake Paul can actually fight. He's proving that now. So he has a level of respect for me. Not the same level of respect as a high-level professional boxer, but he's earning it. He's doing it, and he's getting in there, but he is absolutely bringing eyeballs to the sport.
I think, and it's the old saying is, you've got all the old guys and you've got them set in their ways and they've all got their way of what they used to do. But the problem is, at the end of the day, Nick, and you probably agree with me, you've got to catch up with the times. Yep. You've got to see what's, it's not the the guy sitting on the TV talking to an interviewer now getting 5 million. It's the guy that's an influencer saying, hey, you look at this McLaren that I've just brought, it's smashed up, and he's got 50 million on it. It's media, social media, TikTok, it's just influencing so many people these days that, they have to, I mean, like you said, fake Paul in the beginning. Yeah. They're not saying that now, are they?
No, even I'm not.
They're not saying that now. It turned you. Yeah. And I think that what you're going to do and what we're going to talk about in a minute is bringing the two kind of arts together. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you got into this BKFC, I mean, how did that start? I mean, how did you get into it?
So I was refereeing a show in Phuket. It was under the BKFC rules, and I'd heard about it. I was like, this bare knuckle fighting, I'll have a look. So I'd done some research, looked into it, and I spoke to David Feldman, who's the president of the organisation in America, and he ran me through the rule set. So I was ready to referee the event. Right. I'll never forget it. I was standing in the middle of this ring, and I've called knuckle up, which is the term we use for action. Right. And I refereed 12 fights that day, and I absolutely loved it. And
when it says bare knuckle, have they actually got anything on their hands at all or not? Right, have they got any kind of wrap at all on the knuckles?
No, so we are officially the only true bare knuckle organisation in the world. Or we were. We've now got offshoots that are following us in our path because we've become very successful. But no, officially, when we first started in 2018, we were the first real bare knuckle. When I say real, we wrap the hands, has to be at least 2 inches below the knuckle.
From the knuckle. So you're actually using the knuckles. Wow.
Yeah, we take the hands and the thumb just to keep the bones in place in case of any injuries, but it's completely bare.
But as a referee, you've got a massive responsibility, because at the end of the day, if they're fighting bare knuckle or whatever they're doing at the end of the day, you've got to know and be experienced when to step in and say stop.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what you referee, MMA, which is grappling, striking, Muay Thai, you've got to know what you're doing, of course. But the good news is we got doctors on the side of the ring that make the real decisions. I can stop a fight and I can get the doctor to check. If the cut's not suitable to carry on, it's his problem, it's his decision. So
you're judge and jury, aren't you?
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, we don't judge the fights. We just ensure that the action keeps moving. The best possible safety aspects are considered for the fighter. And that's pretty much
the book stops with you, though, in the ring.
It does, absolutely, yeah. So no one can stop the fight except for me. Right. It has to be me, yeah. The doctor cannot stop the fight. I can, and then I can call the doctor in, But the doctor can cancel the fight if the cut's too bad. You're
gonna bring something to Pattaya, aren't you? That's never been done before. I mean, I sort of understand it, but I don't understand it. So I'm gonna be the dummies. I'm gonna play the dummy, which you say to me is very easy, Dave. No problem.
I didn't say that.
But you thought it. Come on, Nick. Tell me in simplistic terms what's going to happen, where it is, and how people can get in contact to go to see this. Because I think doing what you're doing is fantastic, and I think that people that don't go to events like this are going to be intrigued by it, and I think they're going to go to it.
Right. Okay, so we get a lot of people. It's a stigma around it because it's bare knuckle. People think they think it's thuggery or whatever. But some people don't like combat sports. Fine, don't watch it. I'm not expecting you to, but don't criticise it until you give it a chance, because everybody that comes realises that the people on our events are exceptional athletes. They're exceptional human beings, most of them. Some of them are dickheads, but most of them are exceptional human beings, and we love what we do. And it's not thuggery at all, even though it sounds a bit thuggish. But here's the big news. So I brought BKFC to Thailand. The event I did in Phuket was not an official BKFC event. It was just they used the rule set. They were testing the market here. I bought the actual organisation under a licence here, so I now control Asia under BKFC. So we were the first to bring...
Which is worldwide, isn't it?
It's a global...
It's a global thing, global just brand. To point out to people, this is a global thing, but you take care of the Asia end of it, yes?
Absolutely. It's the fastest growing combat sport in the world. Since 2018, we exploded in growth during COVID, and we're catching up now as one of the leading combat sports properties in the world. So it's a big deal. We're doing very well. So I brought it to Thailand, but it's primarily boxing without gloves, but what we call the half Thai plum, or the half clinch. You're allowed to pull the back of your opponent's head with one hand and hit it with the other.
Which they do in Muay Thai, is that
Muay Thai, but in Muay Thai you use both hands, but in ours you can only use one.
So for the Muay Thai and this, what you're putting together, there is a certain set of rules? Is there new rules?
Yeah, so it's a brand new rule set for us. Yeah, so it's basically Western boxing without gloves, but you are allowed to use the clinch, the half clinch. You can't use both hands.
No kneeing or anything?
No knees, no elbows, none of that.
Right, okay.
So it's like boxing, but it's more exciting because it's got no gloves and you can hold the head and you can punch. Now, this is very important because, it makes Thai fighters very good at this sport. Because Western boxers, if it didn't have the clinch, would just dominate the sport.
Sure.
So with the clinch, it's allowed Muay Thai fighters to use their skill, but it's also allowed MMA fighters to get in and hang with the professional boxers. Because if you've got a good boxer with head movement and footwork, grab him around the back of the head and punch him. You don't know what to do.
And you're getting pretty excited about this coming up, aren't you? I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you as a fighter and your history and the people around you are pretty excited about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've sort of looked at it and I think to myself, this is going to be pretty cool because you've got two kind of people in the ring doing what we've just said about, you said fake Paul, and suddenly, you've got these two guys who are completely apart, and you brought them together on the stage in Bangkok the other day, didn't you?
That's right.
Did one get poked in the eye or something? Is that right?
Yeah, TV Gold, sorry.
TV Gold, was it?
Yeah, it's gone viral.
Excuse me, while you're on the stage, can you just poke him in the eye?
We didn't have to tell him. I mean, Buakaw is a legend. I mean, he's a legend in the sport. So actually, let me get back to that. So
sure, please.
Our rule set is primarily boxing with the clinch.
Right.
However, we've signed Buakaw and Saenchait. These are two of the greatest Muay Thai fighters that have ever lived. They are megastars around the world. I mean,
right.
They really are a big deal. We signed both of them to the organisation. Now, they've been fighting for a long time, and people all around the world have gone crazy about who would win in a fight between those two. And for years, people have been trying to put the fight together.
Right.
So there's been $1 million deals on the table that have fallen through.
Wow.
And I know why, because it's been one hell of a headache to make this fight happen. I mean, it's been probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But we got it. We got it signed. It's set for November 4th. But here's the exciting news. BKFC is primarily boxing, but for the first time in the history of our sport, we're actually going to do a bare knuckle, we're calling it a Thai fight, a bare knuckle special rules Thai fight. So it isn't Muay Thai because under the authorities of Thailand, you've got to follow a certain tradition and a set of rules.
Right.
But we've changed it. So we've got no gloves, a round ring, and we've speeded it up as well.
A round ring, or is it
circular?
It's circular, not
circular.
the octagon 50 pence shape.
No, that's the cage. Yeah,
so
ours is a circular ring.
See,
so
I'm dumb. I did. I did warn you. I did warn you.
No, so if you see a circular ring, then that's us because it's a painted. We call it the squared circle.
Right.
So we're the only organisation in the world with a round ring. So it's in the round ring. So it doesn't meet the exact criteria to be a Muay Thai fight. So we're going to run a special rules bare knuckle Thai fight. So it is basically elbows illegal, kicks illegal.
Illegal.
No, we're bringing them in for this first time ever. Okay. First time ever. So this is basically a bare knuckle Thai fight. And we've got two of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport fighting.
Now, how many fighters are on that night? Did I read, tell me if I'm wrong, did I read also that you had the two ladies that were fighting that night?
Absolutely, yeah. The ladies are brutal. I mean, they fight just as hard as the men.
I've seen some of their fights. They get into it, don't they?
They're really good.
Proper bitches, aren't they? I mean, they go for it, They're fighting over who's got the tea towel, It's bang, isn't it? I mean,
wouldn't want to mess with
them. They don't mess with them, yeah. You don't mess with them, do you?
Don't want to mess with these girls.
But you've got two fighting, haven't you?
Well, the main event is like, and this is an historic event. This will go down in the history books forever. This is potentially the greatest Muay Thai fight in the history of the sport. Bearing in mind it's Thai fight, not Muay Thai.
Sure.
But the co-main is just as exciting for me. So we've got this incredible athlete here in Thailand called Po Denman.
Okay.
She is incredible. 39 fights. I think she's only ever lost one. She's fought left way, which is the headbutts and bare knuckle.
Wow.
She knocked a man out in an underground bare knuckle fight.
I've had that in the past.
She did. She knocked him out of a straight right. It was a beautiful shot. Put him on his ass. Gone. She's got an excellent record in Muay Thai, excellent record in boxing. So she's actually challenging the world champion at her weight. So it's 52.5 kilos from America. So it's a lady called Britain Hart. She is the current reigning world champion at that weight. We're flying Britain in to fight Po Denman in Thailand as the co-main event of that card.
And how many, number one, the second thing I want to ask you is, where is it at?
Okay, so it's at the Royal Cliff Hotels Group in Pattaya. The big 5-star resort?
On the hill,
Yeah, so my business partner is a great guy, Kun Golf. He owns that hotel.
Okay, nice.
Attached to the resort there, we've got a massive event centre.
We've got the conference thing.
Yeah, so we're inside there, yeah.
I've been there, massive place.
Brilliant.
Right, okay. And how many fighters are on that night? I mean, you've got the main event, which is the two guys and the two ladies. Is there any other fights on during the night?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
have you got a what they say, card full of
stacked card.
Stacked card.
We got absolute monsters on the
Right,
card. So
okay.
this is our 5th event. So we've seen the guys, all the guys that have done well, performed well, and won on the last events, and now fighting each other on this event. So it's a stacked card.
Do you think this, being totally honest, I mean, this is your 5th one you've done, yeah?
Yep.
I mean, and of course, like we spoke off air about, learning all the time and learning from our mistakes, and you don't stop, and I've had to stop, but like you learn from your mistakes. I mean, is that what you're doing? I mean, the last one that you put on, did you think this could have been done better or that could have been done better? I wish I would have done that. Do you pick up on things like that?
Dave, that's all I look for. I'm only looking for mistakes or things I can improve on.
Sure.
There's no point dwelling on things that I've done well. I mean, I've done that well,
Well,
great. Acknowledge it and move on.
Yeah,
It
sure.
doesn't help me moving forward. What helps me move forward is always to progress, always to find things. And I'm very good at taking criticism. So we'll speak to the guys in America and say, Nick, that was great, but let's try and do this, let's try and do that. And we're always improving. So,
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and a lot of people can't, being what I've done over the years, and you doing what you're doing, and there's a lot of people that can't take criticism.
Right.
At the time, they sort of and give it the smile, but when
Brush
they
it
go
off.
off, they think, oh, twat.
I tell you-
But I can take it, and I'm sure you can.
Absolutely. And I think where I learned it was in martial arts,
Yeah.
because, like, for example, I'm quite high rank in jiu-jitsu now, and the only way you get to that point is to get your ass handed to you over and over again.
Right.
And if you're too arrogant to accept where you went wrong, you're never going to progress. So I think martial arts has really helped me be able to take criticism, but I channel it into everything in my life. Everything I do, I want to do to the best of my ability, and the only way I can improve is to acknowledge where I could have done better. So absolutely, you're right. The last 5 events have just been getting better and better and better.
And of course, what's going to happen here, like it always happens, I mean, when we used to do stuff abroad, as you get closer and closer, the anxiety builds and builds and builds, things go wrong and you're panicking, and, it's just part and package of what you do.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, we spoke off camera, and we were talking about people that do criticize you and say, oh, that was rubbish, you did that, you did this. And like we said, these are the guys that just sit at home and watch the TV and knit a jumper. They've got no idea. Nobody's, even I haven't. I know what it takes to put a concert on,
Right.
but I don't know what it takes to put this on. And just by not meeting you before, by looking at what you do, I think, this guy is just like a busy bee. He's working his arse off to be everywhere. And I think that's what you have to be with this kind of thing that you're putting on. It's not the actual night. The night is the night. The fight is the fight.
Yep.
It's the show business
Yep.
that goes with it. That's what it is. It's show business, and that's the big build-up. And I think you're making a great job of that.
I really appreciate that, David.
It's all right.
You're
You're welcome.
absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very hard work. And like we spoke about, it's passion, isn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
You couldn't pay me enough money to do this job if I didn't want to do it.
No.
I keep going forward because of passion, but yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right there.
Where would you like, I mean, you're going to put this on, it's going to be in November, and after that, I mean, you're going to go and take a relaxation and be with your family and all that kind of, but what's your ultimate goal in Thailand? What is the ultimate goal?
Yeah, but that's a really interesting question. So, I mean, when I got here, I never had the goals that I'm actually fulfilling now. I
Sure.
didn't have them then.
Sure.
Like, life here just keeps evolving.
Sure.
And every few months, I'm focusing on something more, and I'm bigger and better every single time.
Could you see this? I mean, I'm only thinking like what you've put together, these two guys together that have never done it. Can you see this? How can I put it in a good way? Could you see this becoming a roadshow in a way? Like traveling to somewhere else, another country to do it, to take them?
Absolutely. I mean, look, these two will never fight again. They never fought each other before. They'll never fight again. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to watch this fight. It's incredible. If you do some research on Buakaw and Saenchait, you'll see. But yeah, I mean, I've already been to meetings in Cambodia. I've already been to meetings in the Philippines. I'm speaking to people in Indonesia. So the whole of Asia, even China and Japan. This thing is going to go right across Asia. There's
What about you and going out there and scouting? Do you do that at all, or is it other people? I mean, do you scout? Do you go out and watch people and think they're good?
Yeah,
Do you
no,
think
that's my
the future?
reward, Dave. That's my reward.
Right,
Because
okay.
all you know about business, the admin side and the promos,
Sure.
it's all hard work.
Absolutely.
But I really enjoy meeting the fighters, scouting, putting the fights together. So that's my reward for doing what I do.
Yeah, I used to say, I'm the voice and I do this and I do that in the studio and that's it. I don't want to know what you have to write in a book or what figures figures you have to put down. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
It's meeting people like you and all the people I've met in my life. I just find that everybody, and I will meet again, and we'll do another one. But I always think that everybody's got a story in them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And your story is great so far.
Thank you.
I think you're at chapter 5 now, Nick.
Yes.
Chapter 6. Let's say chapter 6.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more chapters to come.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to add to today? Are you okay with everything?
No, I mean, just thank you very much for your time and showing some interest in what we do.
Well, interesting.
If anyone's interested in coming to see the event, all I ask is that people give it a chance. I mean, look, if you're not interested in combat sports, do not come.
Sure.
If you don't like the look of blood, do not come.
Yeah.
But if you're curious, then come with an open mind. And I ask people, like, I get a lot of people saying, oh, these two, it's only ever going to be an exhibition match. And they talk about it as if they know 100% what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? When I spoke to these two, I actually offered them an exhibition fight because, listen, I am never, ever going to lie to my audience. I'm not going to tell my
they'll
audience.
They'll see through you.
Absolutely. And what is that? That's corporate suicide.
They're just going to put you on the shelf and say fake.
But interestingly, I don't need to lie. I'm a strong-willed guy. I don't need to lie. So it's a real fight, and this is from their choice. When I offered them an exhibition, because I said, if that's how it's going to be, we'll promote it as such, because it will still be a great demonstration. And they both point blank refused. They want a real fight.
I think people would see through it, Nick, and I think the Thai people would see straight through it as well.
Absolutely.
Straight away. And I don't think, if you're building this up to be something what it's going to be, which I think is going to be phenomenal, and then you've got two people and they're dancing around and doing showtime, it's not for us. It's not for you. No. And I can't see it being that. So,
but here's the other thing: how can you have an exhibition bare knuckle fight? I mean, it's not like we're playing games with gloves on here. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Real. But it's a real fight. So anyone wants to come along, give it a chance. I guarantee you'll have an amazing evening, and you will be amazed at the level of
let's just recap. It's on November the 4th.
November 4th,
and it's at
the Royal Cliff Hotels in Pattaya.
Okay, and also we're going to put the links everywhere that we are, because we're all over the place like dog shit. So we're gonna spread it all over and get your link out there, and people can buy tickets from there. Yes.
Thai Ticket Major, they go on sale on the 31st of this month.
31st of this month, Thai Ticket Major. We'll put the link on because we do Thai Ticket Major stuff anyway. Yeah. Okay, Nick, and hopefully I'll be well enough to come on the night and watch it. It'll be really nice.
I would love you to come. We'll take good care of you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Nick. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, sir, and I'm sure we're going to see you again.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. AX Media.
Our team of creatives, designers and developers collaborate closely to produce visually stunning and captivating digital experiences. Our team is carefully structured to deliver exceptional, personalized and inventive digital solutions from the initial idea to the final product launch.